David says the problem is, and I don't like people that start with that question. Poor David. Sorry, Dave, you're about to cop it, mate. The problem is I'm still working out the action to take and how to best get there. Okay, so Tony did say, are you turning over every rock? And, you know, he said many other things as well, which I'm sure he's about to say right now.
And David, you and I worked privately together, albeit a while ago, but there are so many things that you can be doing, and it's about constantly, what else can I do? See, ask a better question, get a better answer, right? And what will happen in life is that we will do some stuff and there will be a dead end, and we'll hit the dead end. Now, some people will stop and go, oh, this isn't going to work. Other people will say, well, I've hit this dead end. Where else can I go? What else can I do? Who else can I turn to? Who else can I meet? Who else can I speak to? How else can I bring my idea to life? Right? There are so many things that you can do, David, that all of us can be doing. It's about being resourceful. It's about having the determination to not give in, because this thing is so big in your mind. And again, it comes down to interest versus commitment. I know you said you were committed, but are you truly, truly, truly committed? Versus, are you interested in doing this thing? And it's a very noble cause that you're trying to get off the ground, versus, are you truly, truly committed? And when you start off with saying the problem is, no problem is, what are you doing next? What are you doing next?
Well, good to see we're on the same page, and I'm not just being the harsh one here, Tony. But the dead end analogy is a really good one, because if you hit that dead end, you obviously got to track back a little and then find that new path, a new street.
Of course.
So, that really works well, Tony. And David said, sorry.
Have you? No. Firstly, David, don't apologise. But the second thing, and we want to encourage people to give us real life examples, because we'd love to be able to help people move forward. This is a time for you guys to leverage off Luke's experience and my experience here for free on a Sunday morning, help you move forward. So please, no need to apologise. Ask all the questions that you want. And I've forgotten the point I was trying to make, but it was about effectively being resourceful and recognising that that's right. In your journey, Luke, have you ever come across any dead ends? Have you ever made any mistakes in your journey?
Thousands.
Right, so there you go. And I make them. I'll go and make a heap today, I'm sure, and I made a heap yesterday and the day before. The point is this. The point is that it's about the determination to keep going. Dead end, bang, dead. You might hit 20 dead ends, right, before you actually see some light. You know, it's just about, but this thing is so vividly clear in my mind that I am going to make it a success. Does that make sense? And so it's about going, yeah, dead end, whatever. Keep going. The answer is there. And again, if you give up, go back to the guarantees that I said before. If you give up, then it will never, ever happen. And so, go.
I was going to say, David's come on and said, I'm sorry for, well, he did say, I need guidance, which is good. And we applaud you, David, for being vulnerable and putting yourself out there. You probably realize that Tony and I are probably going to challenge you on some of these things. And we do know you personally, both of us. So it's good that you are continuing to put yourself out there. I guess where we want to look to help you and assist you in this way is thinking about what you can maybe challenge or change for yourself. He said, I'm slowly forming a suitable team to leverage. I cannot do it on my own. And this is where we've got to be careful with that wording, because Tony actually says, David, try using the word challenge over problem. That's a forward progression for someone like you, David, to think about what you can do or better for yourself in the words that you're using on yourself. So it kind of, when you're saying the words, I'm slowly forming, seems like it's a real struggle and it's a real fight for you. Yes, I like the whole thing about a fight, but it's just like, it seems a more negative point. And then obviously you back that up with, I cannot do it on my own. I cannot do it on my own. So, and this is, well, what are you doing to then get the team of people? Or why aren't you focusing on those words of having the team around you and forming that team? So that would be the suggestions that I would make. Anything further?
Put a date on it, David. Put a date on it. So when are you going to get the team sorted by? Is it going to be, within the next week, the next fortnight, the next month? If you just keep meandering through life, then we'll be here in 12 months' time and you'll be writing similar comments. So it's a case of going, well, by the end of March or by the end of this week or whatever it might be, I'm going to get the team sorted. Done. Bang. Now, the next question is, what do I need to do? So it's always, the process is start with the end in mind. Now, the end in mind doesn't have to be 20 years or 10 years. It could be a week. So by Friday of this week, what does that look like? Start with the end in mind. Bang. Okay, it looks like this. Cool. Now what is it that I need to do over the next week to make sure that I hit that goal, to make sure that I hit that milestone? So I would put a date on it, and I would really look at the actions that you're taking to close that one out. Then that's done. Tick that off the list. I've got a team. Great. Move on to the next step, right? You've got to...
We've got some other good comments coming through. We've got Kelly who's come on. Sean and I have had a person in our lives that disagree with every good idea we've had. We did it anyway, and it worked. It was our pressure test. And that's good. If you can rise above the negativity, because Tony, we are going to get the negativity in our lives, whether it's friends or family members or people. And like you said earlier, it's not about us receiving that. It's more about the person that is actually providing that advice or providing those questions. So it's often more about that. And great work on Sean and Kelly to go, no, this is what we're all about. This is our path. We are actually going to do it. Don't give a flying, whatever what anyone thinks, and I'm just going to go ahead and do it. So congratulations to you.
Go back to what I said earlier. Your why, your what, your belief. There are going to be people, and you said it rightly, Luke, there are going to be people who are closest to us who are going to have doubts, who are going to plant the seed of doubt in us. Now, it's up to you whether you put fertilizer on it and water, or you go, you know what, it's not for me. You can have your own opinion, the salt bait, you can have your own opinion, but you can't control someone else's opinion. Right, people are going to throw things at you. And we talked about this leading up to Christmas, around the fact that we're going to be sitting around the Christmas table and there's going to be all sorts of commentary coming at us from left, right and centre because family was all together. And did you take our advice and did you hear what they're saying? Right, so you listen, but you're not listening to what they're saying to you, right? You go, okay, well, that's your opinion, that's fine. I can't control what someone else is going to say. And in a lot of cases, it's their own insecurities. Perhaps they've had a bad experience before. And maybe because they had a bad experience, they think that everyone else moving forward is going to have that similar bad experience. But nonetheless, get clear on why you want to do the thing, get clear on what your goal is, and believe you can do it. Believe you can do it. Get incredibly insular with this. And if you're struggling with the people that are around you who are bringing you down, find a different herd. We're a herd mentality. We like to have people around us. So if your current herd's not serving you, and I appreciate that where there's family involved, it's sometimes difficult, but find a different herd. Find a herd that's going to lift you up. And then it's about compartmentalizing your life. So what I mean by that is, obviously you still got your family there, but it's about doing that in a dose that suits you, in a frequency that suits you, but then spend other parts of your life with those that are going to lift you up and help you, be the wind beneath your wings so that you can go forward and achieve the goal.
It makes me think about, are you spending time with the winners? And I just think about, you talk about herd, and I thought about Winks and Black Caviar's racehorses. Or are you spending time with the donkeys?
There you go. I love it. So look forward to that post coming out during the week.
We've got
yeah, sorry, go. Yeah,
I like that one. Thanks for the correction, Tony Gallagher. It was Tony Gallagher actually. Okay, I got it. Use more positive words. Spot on, David. It's a big one for you to think about using more positivity in your language. Ken Murray also says on the back of that, hi everyone, it's not a problem, it's just a situation. Problems can worry you, situations aren't so bad. Yes, a more positive light on that one definitely can.
You know what I love about that? I love about that is that you've got two of the regulars in our audience who are getting out there and providing feedback and suggestions and solutions, and I love it. And that's that fills me with enormous pride that people are taking on board some of the things we've said, some of these ideas they've got from their own experiences, and they're helping others out. And I think it's wonderful. So congratulations to you, Tony G, and to you, Ken, as well. I think it's terrific.
No, it's brilliant. We also got Ken Murray says, that's awesome, in the back of Kelly and Sean's, work that they're doing, having that pressure test, which is great. David said, but starts the word.
But, yep, go.
It's like mic drop.
Go.
But it's true, and it's not easy to form the right committed team. Nothing's easy, like Tony said earlier, David. Don't know how to express this in a positive language. Language.
So I would reframe it and say, what do I need to do to form a positive team? That's all. Just change some of those words. What do I need to do to form a positive team? That's it. What does a positive team look like? Again, start with the end in mind. Get clear on what does a positive team look like. Great. Now I want to find that team within 2 weeks from now. Great. Now what is it that I need to do between then and now to bring that to life? So, if I keep saying it's going to be hard, it's
very clear to David on what the baby steps are.
100%. Yeah, if it keeps saying it's going to be hard, it's going to be challenging, it's not easy, then you're reaffirming that in your mind, and it's going to be bloody difficult. And we talked about this last week. It's the language. Be careful of what you say to yourself, because your mind's listening, right? Your mind is always listening, and so it's about what are the things that I need to do. So flip this around to what is a better question, right? What is a better question that you can ask yourself? And a better question is, what does the perfect team or the ideal team look like specifically? And then what do I need to do to bring that team to life?
And Kelly actually says, working on finding our tribe now. So that could be a way that, that David kind of reworks that. Obviously, you mentioned a couple of questions. David's actually said, oops. So maybe when we highlighted the word but was a good one for David to think about. Kelly says, thanks, Luke. Sean will be watching the replay. He finished doing his course, so he's doing a bit of a course at the moment. Good on you, Sean, for doing the hard work. And Tony Gallagher says, David, you can scale it back so you can cope. So that's an interesting idea. Maybe progressing too fast forward, and maybe it goes back to those baby steps that we talked about as well. David says, Tony says, David, do these team members you're looking for have similar goals in mind? It's a good question as well. When you are, forming that team, it's something that you want to think about. And then Peter Chong says, what is ? Thanks for the tip. Thanks for the tip. I'm not sure what he's forming there. Ken Murray says, what forms a good team? In sports, it can be the players that complement each other. You don't have 13 forwards, you have a mix. So it's a team of champions or a champion team. Which one does well?
Yeah, 100%. In fact, I was having this conversation last night at the wedding that I went to, and how often is it that every year let's talk about football, every year with State of Origin, on paper, New South Wales always looks the better side, but yet the mighty Maroons just have this culture, and being a Queenslander, it starts with when you're a young kid, and it's bred into us up here north of the border, but it happens all the time that a team that should win, that is a team of superstars, doesn't always win, right? And they don't, because the other team is playing better as a team versus, like you said, a whole lot of individuals. And that's just one example, but there's so many examples where, teams on paper doesn't always, result in winning the match or winning the game.
Yeah, like we've been talking today about, do you really believe? And, from the start of thinking about, without the belief, will you achieve? Then actually looking at the current situation and where you're at and where you're going, and thinking about the belief. We kind of touched on the next topic a little bit through the course of this video today, but how strong is your belief? And what will this mean to you if you are going to achieve? And what will this mean to you if you don't achieve? Having that motivation behind that, or the determination behind that, and why you actually are doing it. So we have highlighted about that. I just want to bring that back to the strength of your belief. And this is what I see a lot of times. It's like, I really want to do property investing or property development or run a small business. How strong are you at it? How determined are you at it? I used an example about myself and moving out of 9 to 5, going into building that property portfolio, and my wavering actions and belief around that, and blocking out all the naysayers in the background and all those questions that came point. But how strong, Tony, is your belief?
100%. And that's one of the challenges for today. So let's talk about some solutions to help people out. So what do you need to do in order to increase your level of belief? So one of the things you need to do is to start to form empowering beliefs. So what is it that you are saying to yourself? And is your language an empowering belief, or is it a limiting belief? Right? Poor old David, we've gone through things with him today, but David, there's limiting beliefs in your language, right? So it's about, I need to start to form an empowering belief. That's the first thing. So write it out, write this thing out. The next one is to read it out aloud. When you read your belief out aloud, your subconscious hears you, right? So it's, I need to say these things out aloud. Create some affirmations for yourself. I have the skills and capabilities to achieve whatever it is that I want. Money flows to me in abundance. The world is conspiring for my success, whatever it might be. On and on and on it goes. If you want a good resource for affirmations, look at Louisa, I think it is Louisa Hay. She's deceased now. Yeah, Louisa Hay, but she has an amazing list of affirmations, right? So look at that. Pick some of those that you like. Obviously modify them to suit your circumstances, but create a list of things. It might be 2, 3, 5 affirmations that you can say to yourself, and say them every single day. But don't just say them like, oh, the world is conspiring for my... You don't believe it. Say it like you believe it. Say it like you are committed to bring it to life. And the more that you say it, the more that it starts to become believable. So that's one of the things. The other is to visualize yourself. Visualize yourself. I touched on before, I visualized myself delivering a farewell speech for 18 months. For every day for 18 months before I delivered the damn speech. I visualized the people. I visualized the date. I visualized where I was going to be. And I delivered it 4 meters away from where I visualized. Unbelievable. Right? Visualize what it is that you want for yourself. Then start small. We touched on this earlier. Start small. Right? Take some small steps. Stop. Reflect. Go, fantastic. And keep going. And how often I had this conversation with someone earlier this week around anxiety. How often do we play this thing out of our mind? We turn something that's this big into this big. Then we do it, right? We finally get the courage, summon up the courage to do it. And we go, oh, that wasn't that bad at all. So start small, do things, and start to create the belief that way. The other thing, Peter was touching on this a little earlier, and I know that Peter has spent time with me in the past. And I use the example of find something that you've had some success in. We have all had success in something. So it may not be in the thing that you're doing right now, but it may have been something else, right? So it may have been that you were a champion sports star when you were young, or you achieved something that you didn't think was possible. Go back to, what was I doing then? What was I thinking then? Why was I able to achieve that something? And we all have an example, right? So again, it's not related to the example that you're going for. It may be, but it may not be. But it's an example of, in the past, I did something, I achieved something, I didn't think I could do it, and I did it. What was your story that you were telling yourself, and what made you do that? Now here's the opportunity. Get the blueprint from that time and pick it up and put it on the new thing that you're wanting to do. And there's a process around this, right? But it basically go, I'm going to, whatever it was that I was thinking, doing, saying back here, I'm going to do it with this new thing, right? This new thing, I'm going to get me going that way. And the last one is to start to act as if. So acting as if, we talked before about identity. Identify yourself as the successful blank, whatever the thing is that you're trying to do, the successful business owner, the successful property entrepreneur, the successful partner, right? The successful, health and wellness, whatever it might be. What does the successful blank look like, right? And what do I need to do? How do I need to behave in order to look like that particular person? So start to act as if, start to identify yourself as a successful person in that, whatever that field is, and you do this all the time. And when someone calls you up, you say, hello, I'm so-and-so, and I'm a property developer, or I'm a business owner, and I'm saying this stuff out aloud. I'm saying it out aloud. Remember what I said earlier, that what you say out aloud, your mind's listening to that. They're just some tips for people.
Absolutely. I put the link for Louise Hay for the affirmations on there as well, which David's acknowledged. He goes, thanks, guys, for the input. I admit I lost strength in my belief and commitment. So it's good to acknowledge that. And the next step is awareness plus actions. Then you look for that success. And then Tony Gallagher said, Louise Hay, you can heal your life is something that Tony Gallagher is putting forward. Ken Murray says, determination is not accepting no. 28 years ago, I rang the organizer of a local market to participate with my van. He said no for various reasons. I drove to her house on another day and spoke to them face to face. I got a yes. It took a little coercing, but it worked. The baseball bat in hand had nothing to do with her.
Fantastic.
Absolute goal from Ken Murray. But that's amazing. You know, so many examples. The light bulb, Thomas Edison, J.K. Rowling, 13 editors before they accepted her Harry Potter books. The list goes on. The list goes on. All those no's finally getting a yes. And, you know, that's what it's been about for us in different areas. And that's why I go, if you hit that dead end, a new path. And that's exactly what Ken Murray has done. And look at him now. You know, you can go down to Thirroul, knock on his front door, and then have the ice cream van opened and ready to go if you want a home service ice cream, which I did a couple of weeks back. Fantastic as well. Didn't get out of the chair. He allowed his wife, Janelle, to actually do that for him. And I think he was so stoked taking us on the tour of his house. And that was a great soft serve cone, Tony. So I guess you are going to come down to New South Wales sometimes. Maybe we'll trip south.
I have to keep extending south, absolutely. But the thing is there that Ken's got a no and he's turned a no into a yes. And that's just one example. And I'm sure Ken could rattle off heaps of others. We could rattle off plenty ourselves where a no, you turn it into a yes. And that's because the thing was so big. The goal was so big. Like it just meant so much to me, to Ken, to Luke. It's like just this goal is so big and it's too big to let go of. So what else do I need to do to make that happen? And these are the types of questions that you need to keep asking. It's a no. Okay, how do I turn that no into a yes? Could I go and speak to somebody else? Again, I'm not sure the specifics around that, Ken, but the point is that there was a no. Now, you could have easily said, oh, that's not good. Oh, well, I'll stay in the job and I won't be able to start my particular business. Or it's like, well, what else do I need to do? How else do I need to turn this around? What are the things why is this person saying no? How do I turn those no's into a yes? There might be reasons why they're saying no, and I need to then clearly demonstrate. I need to work on perhaps my pitch, my presentation, whatever it might be, to turn that no into a yes.
Consistent and consistent
effort. Cape, put the cape on, right? Ken's captain ice cream, but I mean, put the cape on. You know, it's about just being consistent and persistent, and whether it be in business or property or life or health and wellness or relationships or whatever it might be, it all takes work. It takes effort. It takes constant action. But when you do the right actions, you do them consistently and persistently enough, it'll line up to creating the success that you're chasing.
Yeah, that's amazing to discuss some of these examples. David says, good on you, Ken. And maybe David can use that story from Ken. And like, you know, it's sometimes it's easier to hear from us and the successes we're having. We do have our values, make our mistakes as well, David, and to everyone else that is out there. But hearing it from someone who's interacting on the video does put that extra level of, I guess, achievability.
It's possible. It's possible because the examples we give examples of J.K. Rowlands and all these people, right? And for a lot of people, they can't relate to that because that person is way down there, right? Whereas we've got results within this local community. And here's the thing, I touched on it before. We all have our own things in our life that we've succeeded in. Like, great that you want to reach out to the Kens and the Tonys and other people in the community, but we've all had success in something. I'll guarantee that no one listening here today has not had success in something. So it's about recognizing what was that thing that I was successful in? What got me to create the success? What was I thinking at the time? It wasn't easy, I'll bet you, but I kept saying something to myself and I never gave up for whatever reason. Put that in a bottle, bring it forward to your example now, here in February of 2021.
You're throwing out the guarantees there today, Tony. What's going on?
A lot of guarantees, money-back guarantees, all sorts of guarantees.
You're guaranteeing life, eh?
I'm guaranteeing that when you follow the steps that you give yourself every chance of success. Every chance of success. When you do the things, the stuff that I talk about is not new. I haven't created this stuff. This stuff's been around for hundreds of years. It's simply about putting it in, oh my gosh, it's simply about putting it into practice. Get on the field, get out of the stands, get out of the cheap sheets, get on the field and get into the action, right? Whatever it might be, get in the arena, run, whatever it might be, but just do it. And it's not going to be easy, but you're going to grow, you're going to learn, and you're going to enjoy yourself, right? Enjoy it.
Loving the community at the moment as well. A lot of likes and a lot of fun on Ken Murray. So it's great to applaud those people that are putting themselves out there like Ken has just then, giving it a personal example of their success. And it's great for other people to acknowledge that. So well done to everyone. Big clap for you all. A lot of good on you, Kens. Peter Trong says, it wasn't easy for me to get back from where I was, but I was determined. Yeah, determination is good. Good on you, Peter. It's really good for you to acknowledge that and really applaud yourself on it. Pat yourself on the back. I like that. My assistant actually during the week pat herself on the back about something that she did. And I was like, that is just massive. And that's what I like to see is people really acknowledging themselves and the good work that they're doing. And that can then build up on that belief. So your belief gets even stronger every time. Like Tony said, you are achieving those things from the past that where you were told that you can do it and you rose.
You did it. Yeah, absolutely. And don't rely on the feedback from others. Right. So we talked about this last week, so in that example, pat yourself on the back, pat your own back, right? Don't wait for someone else to pat you on the back because it may not come. And if you put your entire emotional well-being in the hands of someone else, then you're going to be sorely disappointed, right? So take it upon yourself to do this yourself, but reward yourself. And reward yourself isn't go on a holiday. Reward yourself is quite simply acknowledging the fact that that's pretty damn cool that I did that thing that I thought was going to be challenging. Wow. And sit and soak it. Just like it's almost like you want to bathe in this, right? So you want to just sit there, you do something, it might be making one phone call and you've got this massive phobia about making one phone call and you make it. And I want you to sit there after you've made it and just bathe in it and ask yourself those two questions. What do I do well and what can I do different? But just sit there and go, wow, I can do this. Great. I'm going to do another phone call.
What about we talk about visualization next week? I think that might be a good topic. I've actually got
love to.
In terms of the marathon that I ran, actually both marathons that I run, I want to talk about that next week actually.
Perfect.
How I did really well at the first one when I visualized and didn't do as well on the second one, and I was actually stronger at the time. So we'll get into that next week.
There's a little hook. Stay tuned. See you in 7 days.
Peter says, I've done it once before. I can do it again. Kelly says, it all comes from within you and you have to love it no matter what anyone says. Well said, Kelly. So, Tony, that's the wrap on today. Final question for you, Tony, is I know you were sweating it out at the start. Have you sweated it out all the way through? Does it feel like you've run a marathon?
It's been great today. So firstly, I'm sitting here in air-conditioned comfort. So I'm in my office. I'm in the boardroom here. So I'm feeling a lot calmer than I was at 7:59 this morning. I can tell you my time 7:59. But it's been great. The community today has been sensational. And can I say, encourage all of you to each and every week, like the more that you put your own ideas out there, your own thoughts, and you know what, if you want to be anonymous or just go a friend of mine, blah, 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 whatever it might be, we are here to help you, to get you moving forward. That's how we can really maximize this hour together. Sorry, mate, you're going to ask me something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I was like, I'm sure my mother's dying to say something, right?
Great. Come on, Catherine. Yeah, come on, Catherine. Well, you can save it for next week, right? But it's been great today. So thank you, Luke. A real thrill, looking to help everyone out, which has been great.
Yeah. I'm just wondering in terms of doing a session like this, Tony, and the normal coaching that you do week in, week out, is it something that you are energized about, or is it something that takes a lot of energy out of you?
So firstly, and so I'm energized about it because I love it, because that's what I do. That's my purpose in life, is to, positive. My own mission is to positively impact people in business. And so I love it. That's first and foremost, but it does take energy out of me. Like I can't go and do, so the most coachings I could probably do in a day is maybe 4, maybe at a pinch 5, right? But that's in a day, because it is very exhausting, because you're actively listening. You're then you're dealing with some really deep and sometimes dark emotional places for people. You're then wanting to come up with solutions for people to help them move forward. So, but the thing is, when you do something that you love, it doesn't feel like a chore. Do I get exhausted? Of course I do, right? I'm human, but I love doing this. And also, we've been doing it now for, 90 Sundays. So, if we didn't love it, then we would have stopped doing it probably after session 5 or 6, right? So I love it, I look forward to it, it's great, and it's great because we're able to help people. But the thing is, for me as a coach, what I've also taught myself, when I first started out coaching a long time ago now, I used to get very emotionally invested with the outcomes, and I've taught myself over a long time that and respectfully, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And my job is to try and make them drink, but ultimately, the individual still needs to do the heavy lifting. They still have to do the work. And if they choose not to do the work, we can work through reasons why, and there's always a whole lot of reasons, but there also comes a point in time where it's like, well, if you're just not doing the work, then there's not much more that I can do for you, because you have to at least do something. And I've taught myself that over a long period of time to be, again, control what I can control. I can control how I turn up. I can control. So the Ichigo Ichi, which is, for those who want to know, I have referred to this a little bit, but it is treasure every moment, for it will never happen again, right? So this meeting, this live on a Sunday morning, will never happen again. We'll do others, like we're going to do next week, and talk about visualizing, and the week after, and so on and so forth. But today on the 27th of February, 28th, my apologies, of February, will never, ever happen again. Treasure every moment, for it will never happen again. So show up, be present, but then, yes, whether people choose to take the advice that I've given or not is entirely up to them.
A lot of thanks coming from the fans. Kelly says, great session. So does Peter and Ken. You guys are champions for providing this each week. And David, good on you, David, for hanging in there and being faced with all the challenges. Said, great supportive community here. Thanks to all. So good that you experienced that. So that's the final wrap, because I had a couple other questions for Tony. The wrap up always takes about 10, 15 minutes.
Well, we got into it at the start early, so at least we're reversing it, right? So normally it takes
over an hour today, Tony. This has been a long one. All right.
Oh my gosh. Bye.
Sundays. Bye for now.